So I had to do this part a couple of times because I gotten the sound in the background. Anyways, part 2 on our session. Still same paragraphs, still moving on, but second part of this video. The last one is 8 minutes long and 6 seconds, I believe, to be honest.
This girl's
anyways,
huh?
I can't edit out her sound in the background now. I don't know how. But anyways, continuing. I always thought it was just the neighbors with their blue and golden macaw, Xander. So I didn't really bother to go next door and complain. At this time, me, Michael, and Jason are talking while my dove was sound asleep. Casper. As we're still sitting there, I could still hear the continuous laugh upstairs in the attic. It sounded evil and disgusting. So I had Jason, which is Ludum, go upstairs and check it out.
Yeah?
He went up to the attic and feared the worst. He found somebody hung himself in the attic. This was a bloody mess. Because of all that blood in the attic, me, Michael, and Jason had to clean it all up. Blood and corpse all over. Disgusting. We didn't know the whole background story until I found a little booklet. I asked Jason to read it, and he said that he couldn't. I forgot that he was blind. Oh my god. So I gave it to Michael, also known as Christian Ark.
Hey.
I gave it to him, and I said, "Can you read this?" He said, "What is it?" I guess it's a diary entry, journal entry. So then he flipped through the pages, and all it said was guilty. Guilty. On each page. Guilty until he found a journal entry. Something. It said something about Xander, my beautiful blue and golden macaw, was stolen. At this point, I will commit suicide because my neighbor had robbed him from me. So can somebody bring him back to me and I'll stop my evil laugh once I pass? I freaked when I heard those lines. Because when I heard that bird next door, it was Xander. I didn't know it was that bird. I didn't know it was the owner's bird. Why would somebody commit suicide just because somebody robbed someone? I went next door to the neighbors and I showed them the note. They freaked the hell out. They're like, "What?" I had no idea what to do. They were paranoid and they gave me back the blue and golden macaw, Xander. Xander was confused. I didn't know what to do, so I didn't understand anything. So then, I didn't know. So, at that time, I walked back into the house with Xander. I told Xander why he had to come back to his own home.
Oh, it sounds so pretty.
Xander did not quite understand what was going on. He asked me, "Where's my mom?" And I said, "Your mom committed suicide because your neighbors robbed you." "What?" the bird said. "I'm sorry," I say to Xander. I had no idea what to do. I was so paranoid by the fact I didn't know what to say at all. I had no idea. 2 hours later, at about midnight, my dove woke up. And she was dazed. Chapter 2. My dove in critical condition. She had labored breathing as if something was bothering her. I didn't know if she's panting because she's hot or what. Doves could get seriously dehydrated. And I didn't know what to do for her. I was scared and upset that my beloved female dove was going through problems. And she had chronic egg-laying situations. So she was technically egg-bound. I took her to the closest vet the next morning. And they diagnosed her with a disease. It's pretty disturbing and nasty. So they took her into surgery. I went back to the house, only to find the house destroyed. I was paranoid by this. I asked my friends, had they been in the house all day? They said no. When they left, the house was spotless. Michael and Jason had cleaned the house before they even left. I checked to see if Nigel had come home yet, our friend, and he hasn't. He was still in the hospital, so I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what happened. So, later on that day, after my bird had gotten out of surgery, I took her back home, gave her some pain meds, and she fell asleep. 2 weeks later, things had took a drastic turn, and it gotten more disturbing because my poor dove had passed away. She was very sick, violently sick, throwing up, not eating, not drinking, fluffed up. I had no idea what to do. I felt upset. 2 days later, our friend Nigel had come home. He was still groggy and everything, but he was able to walk and eat on his own.
Not one bird, 3 birds. Edit 8.
So, after frequently taking trips to the emergency bird hospital, I wanted her to pass away at a comfortable place, which was our house. After our friend Nigel had gotten home from the hospital for nearly 8 months, he came home and everything was fine. All the paranoia had died down, but the health of my dove's condition was declining. It was getting worse by the minute and by the hour. At about midnight on Valentine's Day, which took a plunge in for me, she passed away at about 3:07 a.m. And I couldn't go bury her at 3 o'clock in the morning, so I had to do something. I put her in a box and covered it up and put it outside until the next morning. The next morning I walked out and I buried her by my other 2 budger guards that passed. And that's when the house began to escalate. Things started to escalate. It got more uglier. After the death of my beloved 15-year-old dove, things got more uglier and disturbing. Such as our phones would be thrown across the room, the bird cage would be flung from the table all the way downstairs into the basement and shattered. So I had no idea what happened. I was just beyond paranoid. So, 2 days after the death of Casper, she came and killed all teenagers that were roaming the streets at midnight, such as 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, one by one. Every kid was turned into a dove and was told to be slaves forever and for the rest of their lives. including Michael, Jason, and Nigel. They were treated like birds. They were slaves for the rest of their lives. Until Nigel had put a stop to it. "Enough of this nonsense," he says one night, and sprays holy water in my dove's cage. "Enough of this, Casper. We're sick of you taunting us. We're sick of you making us slaves. You have no rights." Until he heard the loudest coo ever from the attic. Light bulbs shattering, breaking off. The faucets would immediately turn on real high. The soda bottles would immediately open by itself and thrown across the hall, splattering all over the walls, making everything sticky. All because of the ghost of Casper the dove. Be aware if she comes to your house tonight. Let me know what you guys think of this.